Hey friends, welcome to the Wonder Who channel. My name is Naja. Thank you for being here if you're a returning viewer, and if you're a new viewer, thank you and you are welcome. Today I would like to try a new to me canning recipe. So I did some prompting with ChatGPT because I had some honey mangoes that I had purchased and they were looking a little worse for wear because I forgot about them. And so I asked ChatGPT if there was a canning safe recipe for mango lemonade concentrate. What inspired me to ask ChatGPT this question was that I had just finished up some strawberry lemonade concentrate that I had made late summer in 2023. And I had these mangoes and I had lemon juice and I had lime juice. And so it did provide me a canning safe recipe that is water bath canned using mango, lemon juice, sugar, and it will yield about 7 pints of mango lemonade concentrate. It is a water bath canning recipe. However, I recently purchased a steam canner. I was very interested in that because it doesn't use as much water and the water will come to a boil quicker than a traditional water bath canner. I asked ChatGPT, could I also make this recipe in a steam canner? And it stated that that was safe because steam canning is equivalent to water bath canning as long as you don't go over a certain amount of time in the steam canner. So this will process for about 15 minutes, regardless if it's pints or quarts. But I'm going to be making pints. And the recipe that I was given is for about 7 quarts, give or take. So if I have any extra that will not fill up a jar, I'll just mix it with some water and drink it. I will make some more strawberry lemonade concentrate because it was really good. It just would be nice to have on my canning shelves. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. We'll pivot over to the kitchen. I've got some mango already in the blender that I've thawed out and ready to get started. So I'll see you in the kitchen in a moment. Okay, before we officially get started, I also wanted to call something out. If you're maybe concerned that I'm using ChatGPT to do a canning recipe. So ChatGPT, when it suggested this recipe from my prompt, it stated some important notes. So I wanted to make sure that I shared that with you because this is not an official National Center for Home Food Preservation recipe. So, but there were some important notes that ChatGPT gave me. Number 1, use bottled lemon juice. Do not substitute with fresh lemon juice. Bottled lemon juice is going to ensure safe acidity. Do not reduce the amount of lemon or sugar as this would impact the safety. Also, it stated that the recipe that it gave me is adapted from safe tested recipes for fruit concentrates. If I want a tested source, see Ball's Sippable Summer Lemonade Concentrate or National Center of Home Food Preservation's Berry Lemonade Concentrate, and substitute mango for the berry puree. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure I called that out, that I feel like I've done my sufficient research and this is me just sharing and demonstrating. This is not saying you need to do this, something that I want to try and I'm willing to try for my family. I'm gonna get all of my stuff together. I have 7 pint jars in the oven that are in the oven sterilized and sitting at oven temperature 170 degrees. I've got the steam canner that I will be using and I've already tested it. So I've got my mango puree, my mangoes that I'm going to puree with my blender. This is a mixture of my honey mangoes that I had purchased and processed for this, and also some frozen cubed mango. So we got that. We've got lemon juice. ChatGPT said I could use lime juice. It would be a very tart recipe, but bottled lime juice is already also canning safe. But I'm going to try it with the bottled lemon juice. I've got some sugar over here. I've got a pot to put the sugar, lemon, and mango puree in. I've got a strainer because I want to strain my puree before I mix it up with the sugar and the lemon juice. I've got my canning lids. I've got my funnel. So I've got 7 canning lids. So I'm gonna get these in some hot water. And then I've got my magnetic lid lifter. I've got my debubbler and measurer for headspace. And then I've got my jar lifter. I'm gonna get my blender and then I'm going to blend this and then strain it. All right, so I got my apron. I forgot that because I am messy and I will ruin my clothes with food stains and look like a toddler. So I've got a strainer and a vessel to hold the puree. So while the mango puree is straining, I'm going to put the 4 cups of lemon juice and the 6 cups of sugar in the pot. So as soon as the mango puree is strained, I can add it to it and turn the stove on. So I have 6 cups of sugar and 1 32-ounce bottle of lemon juice. So the recipe calls for 4 cups of bottled lemon juice. 32 ounces is 4 cups. I gotta make sure that I rinse this spatula off so I don't transfer any pulp after I've diligently strained this. All right, let me rinse this off. There was quite a bit of pulp in there. So I'm gonna pour this into the pot with the sugar and the lemon juice and then get it to the appropriate temperature as per the guidance on the recipe. Pouring this in. All right, I've got this poured in. I'm gonna stir it up and I'm gonna get the heat on. Stir well and heat just to 190 degrees. Do not boil. And I don't know, I've never bothered to look for something like this in the grocery store, so I'm not sure if this is even a thing to purchase at the grocery store, a mango lemonade concentrate. When you dilute it, I think it also would be great mixed in with some jasmine green tea. I think that would just be awesome. So in the comments below, if you are thinking about making this or if you've made something similar, how did you use the concentrate? Did you mix it with just water or sparkling water, or like I'm thinking a jasmine green tea for the water component? I'm going to clean up a little bit while this comes to temperature, and then we'll move on to the next steps. So I'm back, but the mango puree is not quite ready to temperature yet, but I remembered I need to get this steam canner ready and hot. And I was going back and looking at the directions. It says place the rack in water pan with the flat side up. Fill the water pan with approximately 2.5 quarts of water. That equals 10 cups of water. And then I need to preheat the water to 140 degrees for raw packed and 180 for hot packed. I need to get that going because the puree, when I just last checked, it was at 135. And I need to make sure this hot pack thing goes according to plan. This is the steam canner bottom. I'm gonna put this tray in here and let this water get to temperature. Yeah, this is ready. So I'm gonna just keep it on low. So I definitely don't wanna get this to a boil because you have to keep in mind too that it's going to cook as it processes in the canner. And I learned that from the strawberry lemonade concentrate. It tasted a bit cooked to me, but I was able to do some things after I mixed it up with water. Lesson learned, because that was one of the first things I canned in 2023 and got into watching a lot of gardening content because a creator had made strawberry lemonade concentrate. And I was like, I could do that. And here we are now, I'm canning meat and beans and using the confidence and the wisdom from the canning officials to try other recipes in a canning safe manner. So I'm filling up the jars with the mango lemonade concentrate, and I'll need to fill them up to 1/4 inch headspace. And I'm taking the jars out of the oven one by one, just so that they can stay warm and not be shocked by the heat of the concentrate. And you can hear the water boiling away up here. That sound effect, the water's boiling away in the steam canner. The only time that I use my sight to measure the headspace is if it's 1 inch, because the bottom rim of this jar is 1 inch. And I may not have enough for a full jar to go into the canner because I want to do this safe. And I want to reach the 1/4 inch. So whatever I can't get in the jar, I will make it a treat for us. And I am going to debubble this. I debubble everything because that's how I learned to can. And it's certainly going to be important to clean the rims of the jars so that you have success and avoid any siphoning. Okay, so I'm gonna need a few paper towels. And you can use a cloth, but paper towels are whatever convenient for me at this moment. So I'm just going to get a little bit of dampness by water off of this and carefully clean these lids. And then I am gonna come behind it and do vinegar. But because this is sugary, I want to give myself best opportunity for success. All right, so I'm gonna get another paper towel and I'm gonna do vinegar next. And I've got to start moving a little bit promptly because this is at a good rolling boil, and it doesn't hurt to go over and go over again so that you can have a favorable outcome with your canning. All right, and let's get the lids on. So the recipe said it was going to be for approximately 6 pint jars, but it was a little under that. I'm putting my lids on. I had them in very hot water. Okay. And then I'm putting the rings on fingertip tight. Make sure you can get them on there threaded properly. If it's giving you any difficulty threading, start over. And that's fingertip tight. If you can't open it with your fingertips, then you've got it on there too tight. So following all the steps is going to lean you over the edge to success. There are things that happen. It could be a lid failure, something wonky with the heat in a certain spot. Those things happen. I don't like this band. Let me get another one. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is put them in the steam canner. And the directions for the steam canner say, I've got it preheated to 180 degrees for hot pack. Follow the directions in my approved canning guide and fill the jars with the product, and then place the jars on the canning rack. So I'm going to put these on the canning rack. So I'm putting them on the canning rack. So this is 6 jars. And I'm trying to put them on here where they won't be clanking around. So you're going to place the lid on the water pan so that the vent hole is towards the back and that I can easily read the indicator knob. So the vent hole is right here. All right, and so I'm going to put this on. All right. And it won't be in the back for me because the way that I put the knob on, it did not crank to where the hole would be in the back, and I'm okay with that. So it says turn your burner up so the water comes to a vigorous boil. It says start my processing time when the needle reaches the maximum point as recorded from the temperature indicator test that I did already. And it says the processing times for steam canning are the same for water bath canning. Only recipes with a processing time of 45 minutes or less can be steam canned. So the processing time for this recipe is 15 minutes. I'll come back and check this periodically. I have it marked to T as the max point for processing for me after I did the test. And then I have this little indicator, but I also have a note in my booklet here in case I lose this indicator that it's at T. So I'll let this get to the right boil and then watch for it to reach that point on the indicator here. And then my processing time of 15 minutes will start. All right, so this is at the right max point. So I'm going to set a timer for 15 minutes for processing. Right now it's a minute before the processing time ends. And once this processing time ends, which was 15 minutes, then I'm supposed to turn the heat off and then let the steam canner sit for 5 minutes, at least 5 minutes before I just tug the lid off. So that makes sense because that's the going instruction for water bath canning and pressure canning is to wait a few minutes so that things can calm down. And I must say this thing is sputtering a lot of water. So I need to look into that, but I am keeping the same max point. So there you go, you heard the timer. So it's been 15 minutes of processing. And then I'll come back in about 10 minutes because I was doing something, but I'll come back in about 5 to 10 minutes to pull this out and get it set aside so it can cool down for 12 to 24 hours. All right, the timer is done, as you can hear, so I'm going to lift the lid. Well, it looks like I got some siphoning out of some of the jars, so that's disappointing to see because that is a very likely indicator that it's not going to seal. However, I have had siphoning occur before and it sealed, but I may need to end up reprocessing these. We got 1 and 6. One had major siphoning and the other ones, it was more minimal. So I will be looking to see how these do in the next 12 hours to see if they seal or not. If they don't seal, I'm going to reprocess them. And if then they don't seal, then it's just going to have to go in the freezer. So I'm putting my wonderful little sign, as always, to say do not touch or move for 24 hours. So we'll put that there. And then I'll be back tomorrow to see if these sealed or not. So with the leftover that did not go into the processing jar, I'm going to make some lemonade with it. So this is the concentrate that was not canned. And then I'm gonna get some cold water. So this looks like 2 tablespoons. So I'm going to put 6 tablespoons approximately of cold water in here. I may have added a little bit more water than the ratio, but I don't like stuff super sweet. Cheers. I like this. I like this a lot. The mango really stands out over the lemonade, the lemon juice, and I think that's a great thing. That is very nice. Don't ChatGPT. I do know that I'm going to give probably 2 jars as gifts, so this probably will be something once I give it to those persons, they're going to be like, can you make me some more of that? That's how good I think it is. And I like the ability that you can dilute it with as much water as you want. The recipe said 1.5 to 3 times the amount of concentrate, but I think 3 is a good number, and some people may go even further than that. But I think I like this better than the strawberry concentrate because I really am getting the mango and the appropriate tartness from the lemon juice, but it's just like perfect. So again, cheers. Go on, ChatGPT. So let's hope all of these jars will seal properly. And I'll give you an update tomorrow once the 12 hours have elapsed so that we can both find out together. All right, it is the next day, so I want to take these jars of mango lemonade concentrate and see if they seal. So as a reminder, these are the jars of mango lemonade concentrate. And let's open them up and see what's what. I'm definitely going to have to wash them. Okay, that one's sealed. And just because of the outcome of this, I certainly am going to wash these well and just probably keep them in the kitchen so that I can make sure there's no failure. All of the lids went in and we got a sticky mess here. So notes for me are I probably need to reconsider that headspace. A 1/4 of an inch is quite restrictive with the way that this stuff was siphoning off. And the other note is to make twice as much next time because it was delicious. So let me clean these up and I'll give you a final takeaway from this. So the jars are clean and they're well sealed now. And I think we have had a successful canning session. So we've got 6 pint jars of mango lemonade concentrate and they all sealed despite my concern with the siphoning, but they look great. And I'm looking forward to adding these to my inventory list and enjoying them with my family. I've got 2 jars that I know I'm going to be giving away and as a gift with some like dehydrated lemons and maybe some lemon basil or something like that, just to make it a little extra nice. But this is a great recipe. My one takeaway is to maybe reconsider the 1/4 inch headspace to maybe a 1/2 inch headspace. I also recommend that if you don't can, that you make this concentrate in this batch and have some freezer safe containers that you can put it in so that you can enjoy it as well. So I don't want this to make you feel like this is exclusively to somebody that has the supplies and ability right now to can. You can make this concentrate and freeze it as well. It is delicious. The mango is nice and prominent in a good way. And the lemonade of it, the lemon juice is not strong and drastic. That was the leftover that I had made. So the cooked, I will, with it being canned and that cooking process, it may be a little different. So if it is, I'll jump into the comments later on when I try it and let y'all know. So knowing that you can either safely water bath can this or freeze it, I hope that you try the recipe. So friends, I hope you enjoyed today's video of me canning mango lemonade concentrate. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to sharing another canning recipe with you guys soon. Please remember that I hope today is the goodest of your good days, and may everything fall into place for you. Bye-bye.